After weeks of media stories about Phillip Schofield, the former host of the TV programme This Morning, and his relationship with a much junior and younger staff member, today was the turn of ITV's executives to come before a House of Commons committee to explain their version of events. Here's everything that you need to know. First of all, it really was the top brass who appeared. We saw ITV's CEO, Dame Carolyn McCall, alongside Kevin Lygo, who is the head of entertainment and daytime programming, along with the network's main lawyer. Now, they said that when they first became aware of the rumours in 2020, they tried to launch an investigation, but there was just no firm evidence to go on. They said that both Phillip Schofield and the junior staff member, who they're referring to as Person X, were asked a dozen times whether an affair was taking place.
Person X and our head of HR for daytime spoke to him on many occasions, focusing on his welfare, but also using the opportunity to ask the questions. I think he was asked the question 12 times, and we have logs of the conversations that were had with him. At each stage, he categorically denied it.
And he realised, I think, that it would be untenable to work with all these people that he'd been directly lying over years to us about. So I didn't have to make the decision about removing him from the instant thing was these soap operas that I mentioned, because he chose to step down and said, I'm actually leaving media completely.
In the interviews that Phillip Schofield did with both the BBC and with the Sun newspaper, it was clear that he was struggling with his emotions and processing everything that had happened. There has been concerns raised about his mental health. Well, ITV today has revealed that it is providing counselling to the former star because it sees that it's got a duty of care towards the former employee. The committee isn't just looking at Phillip Schofield's departure and the drama around the affair. It's also looking at allegations that This Morning fostered an environment where bullying and discrimination were widespread. We've certainly heard that from a number of former staff members, including the show's former TV doctor. ITV keen to stress that it has a number of different systems in place so people can raise concerns, and that only 5 complaints had been raised about This Morning over the past 5 years, only 2 of them to do with bullying and harassment, and none of them had actually been proven. In a different part of the committee hearing, we also heard from a former ITN presenter himself, now turned MP, John Nicholson. He said that he'd been told from staff members that derogatory terms were being used to describe ITV's viewership. Take a listen.
Can you confirm that daytime production staff at This Morning referred to their audience in production meetings as Tower Block Tracies?
As what, sorry?
Tower Block Tracies.
I've never heard that phrase.
I have never heard that.
Now, as the committee was wrapping up, Dame Carolyn McCall was asked about her multi-million-pound salary. She said part of that was performance-driven and that they were going to be completely open about it. But the chair of the committee posed a question to her about whether she should actually still be in her position.
Do you think you should keep your job?
I do. And I think that most people, I do.
The editor of This Morning, Martin Frizzell, was also taken to task. When he was doorstepped, a media term that we use for approaching somebody on the street to get an interview, he was asked about the situation at This Morning. Instead of answering the question, he talked about the toxicity of the vegetable aubergines. Well, the committee chairperson took umbrage at that and had these very strong words to say right at the end of the committee's hearing.
I am slightly concerned that you're waiting for the results of the investigation before taking any action to improve the working environment. There's clearly some work for ITV to do here to rebuild trust with us, but with its staff, more importantly its staff and with its viewers, that it's a safe and welcoming workplace. We want to be really confident that ITV has the processes and the people in place to meet its duty of care and to deal appropriately with complaints. We want to be confident that ITV is not letting star power and favouritism damage the lives and careers of people working there, and more importantly than that, we want to be confident that where mistakes have been made, ITV will be making changes rather than making jokes about aubergines.
So those were the key bits of evidence from today's committee hearing. ITV says it has brought in a lawyer to carry out an external review. That person will look at the workplace culture, how complaints are raised, as well as Phillip Schofield's departure. ITV had said earlier on it will make the results of that review public.